New information on that tough story I'm just back from in Baltimore, the deadly bridge collapse, where twisted metal and concrete continue to block one of America's busiest ports, and federal investigators were able to board that disabled cargo ship yesterday to interview crew members who, this was news to me, they are still on board there. Investigators were able to pick up the ship's black box, which should contain a lot of info. And we were also learning more about some of the highway workers killed in this tragedy and the families that they have left behind. We're covering this from multiple angles, as we have for days now, beginning with Chris Van Cleve in Dundalk, Maryland, for us once again. Chris, good morning.
Good morning, Tony. 21 crew members are on that ship. There were also 2 pilots on board when the accident happened. Now, search teams say they're not able to reach the remaining victims whose bodies are in the water until some of the debris is removed. So this is now a salvage operation. We are also getting our first look on board that ship as we learn new details about the moments leading up to disaster.
It's just utter devastation.
New video this morning aboard the cargo ship Dolly as investigators begin gathering evidence among the mangled mess blocking the Patapsco River after the Francis Scott Key Bridge collapsed.
It's a massive undertaking for an investigation. It's a very tragic event.
An NTSB review of the ship's voice data recorder shows the Dolly left port at 1:07 Tuesday morning. Less than 20 minutes later, the first sign of trouble. The vessel appears to lose power. About a minute and a half later, with alarms sounding, the onboard pilot called for help, asking nearby tugboats to respond. But the ship was already heading into a worst-case scenario collision course. Less than a minute later, the Dolly made that critical life-saving mayday call, giving police time to close the bridge.
Hold all traffic on the Key Bridge. There's a ship approaching has just lost their steering.
The first responders, who were really moved heroically after the first mayday was called, were able to both move towards keeping additional cars from coming on the bridge.
They had less than 2 minutes to act before the collision. The NTSB says the Dolly held 56 cargo containers of hazardous material. That's more than 760 tons. Some of those containers were sheared open, leaving a sheen on the water.
There is no threat to the public from the hazardous materials on board.
The investigation is just beginning, but has the benefit of this video.
How helpful is the video that shows what happened?
Certainly it is helpful, but the NTSB has to focus on data that we are able to validate.
I can't believe that happened.
Michael Singer helped set up the camera for a maritime interest group, never realizing it would capture such a tragic moment of history.
It's iconic to the city. People connect with it. It's really shocking that it's gone.
Now, the Navy is sending barges with heavy lift cranes. The Army Corps of Engineers has resources on the way. So does the Coast Guard. It is a clear mission to get that waterway clear, the debris out so those bodies can be removed, but also so the nation's 9th busiest port can reopen. There are some 8,000 port worker jobs also hanging in limbo. Vlad?
Chris, thank you very much. Appreciate it.